Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Bail conditions change for a cashier accused of $3 million theft at T. Geddes Grant. A cashier who is accused of stealing more than $3 million from T. Geddes Grant from March to May this year had her bail varied on Wednesday when she appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. Janelle King is to return to court on October 7. She is accused of pocketing $3.27 million, which was collected from customers. Ms. King was charged after an audit was conducted. After listening to the allegations, Parish Court Judge Maxine Dennis McPherson attached conditions to her bail. Ms. King was instructed to report to the police 2 times per week and surrender her travel documents. She is as innocent as they come. Attorney says Lady Constable should remain on frontline duty despite ongoing missing person investigation. Attorney representing the Woman District Constable in relation to the disappearance of Donnelly Donaldson, West Senior Simit, is defending his client's right to remain on frontline duty. This as a high level of investigation into the disappearance of 24-year-old intensifies. Mr. Simit's client has been summoned to appear before the Independent Commission of Investigations INDECOM to answer to questions in relation to the probe. But Simit says his client is as innocent as they come. Mr. Senior Simit says his client is confused as to why there is such intense scrutiny being placed on her in relation to Donaldson's disappearance. He says she has done nothing to warrant her being removed from her duties as a district constable. The district constable is now required to appear before INDECOM on August 3rd to answer to questions in relation to Donaldson's disappearance. The police high command had alleged she had refused to provide a statement in the ongoing investigation. Mr. Simit is denying that allegation. The woman's attorney could not say whether she would be prepared to answer the questions when she appears before INDECOM next month. But Mr. Simit maintains his client is innocent of the allegations swirling in social media. Mr. Simit told reporters she has a right not to incriminate herself. He notes both women enjoy a cordial relationship. He declined to say whether the women were a part of a love triangle with Constable Noel Maitland. Maitland is reportedly Donnelly's boyfriend. The district constable is the mother of his child. The attorney refused to say whether his client had indulged the last time she was in contact with the missing person. Donaldson was reportedly last seen 9 days ago. She alleged to have visited her boyfriend before her disappearance. Meanwhile, Mr. Simit says his client has been receiving death threats since Donaldson's disappearance. He told reporters that threats have also extended to her relatives. Mr. Senior says his client believes those threats have risen from the public utterance of the members of the JCF. This is based on a press conference that was held earlier this week. EPOC says labor imports are unavoidable. Chairman of Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC Keith Duncan, says that the country reaches near full employment, short to medium-term importation of labor is unavoidable. He says this should be done alongside the necessary skills shared arrangements to further enrich the local labor force.
But when we import labor, we need to bring them in and also to be able to do knowledge transfer and bringing them in for a specific period of time. And effect knowledge transfer and to put in a training, human capital development to meet those needs. Right now, if we have a gap, then we need to fill it from that labor pool that's not eligible, that have not made them eligible for the workforce, and from also the imported labor. Until we can close, we have to close the gap. If not, we're going to be limiting growth, right? But with the imported labor, what we need to bring is more specialized skill sets that can do knowledge transfer, so that our people can take those jobs in the future. But if we have that gap, we have to fill it. Through the work of the Ministry of Education, the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, they have to now structure the curriculum of heart, of secondary schools, of primary schools, to meet the needs of a global economy that is moving digital. When we look at where Jamaica is, we're behind everyone from a digital perspective. In other countries, we have some catching up to do.
Police death triggers call for opening of Green Acres Station. An urgent call has been made for the commissioning of the Green Acres Police Station in St. Catherine, which is in the close proximity to the site where a policeman was shot and killed on Tuesday. Dead is Constable Jerome Brown of the Spanish Town Police Station in the St. Catherine North Police Division. Reports are that the 32-year-old constable was attacked while driving his private Toyota Allen motor car about 5 p.m. "We need to get the station up and running. Them people here couldn't be so brazen in them behavior," Marion Daly said in her interview. "Look at the inconvenience it caused, and this gives the community a bad name, so we need the police station now." A number of Brown's colleagues gathered on the scene, some speaking in hushed tones while others openly expressed their concerns. One fellow cop cast his murder as an attack on Jamaica. "We serve the same formation from we left the training school 9 years ago. I just can't process this," the colleague said. "I just cannot see how such a humble person met this demise." The police say Brown went to the area in his private motor car to conduct personal business when he was pounced upon by unknown assailants who shot him multiple times inside the car. The attackers fled on foot into nearby bushes. Eyewitnesses, however, told reporters that Brown had just entered his car and was slowly driving away from the premises when 3 men, who were in waiting, fired on the vehicle from behind, hitting the cop multiple times. According to residents, Brown had been providing private security duties at a business establishment located in the vicinity of where he was shot. They also disclosed that Tuesday's fatal shooting came weeks after a female manager at the establishment was also killed by gunmen. St. Catherine West Central Member of Parliament Dr. Christopher Tufton had said last November that the $73 million Green Acres police station was on the verge of being opened. However, because the area is plagued by chronic flooding, approximately $260 million was needed to expand the drainage system. Brown's passing is the second police death within the last 2 weeks in the St. Catherine North Police Division. The fatal shooting of Inspector Enroy Mandur is still being investigated. Jamaica moves to strengthen disaster management. Jamaica's Comprehensive Disaster Risk Management Policy and Strategy 2020-2040 Green Paper was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday by Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie. McKenzie said the essential purpose of the policy is to ensure that by the year 2040, Jamaica would have strengthened its social and economic resilience and significantly reduced the negative effects of natural disasters caused by natural hazards, man-made disasters, and biological hazards. While it would appear that the case for developing this policy is self-evident, it is important to state that a range of factors including Jamaica's historical vulnerability to disasters, the pace of our movement towards full disaster resilience, and the need for firmly establishing the financial foundation for disaster risk reduction are among the most prominent, he stated. McKenzie pointed out that Jamaica is highly vulnerable to disasters, noting that approximately 82% of the population and 70% of all major industries, including tourism and agriculture, are in coastal areas which are especially exposed to meteorological hazards. He further stated that the Global Facility for Disaster Reduction and Recovery has identified Jamaica as the third most exposed country in the world to multiple hazards. Jamaica's vulnerability to hurricane risk alone is particularly high, with average annual losses estimated at US $67.3 million, or 0.5% of gross domestic product (GDP). The minister noted that the implementation of optical disaster risk resilience requires substantial financial investments. This policy is one of the performance requirements of the Contingent Loan of Natural Disaster Emergencies that was negotiated between Jamaica and the Inter-American Development Bank in 2018. This facility allows Jamaica to access a maximum of US $285 million to develop a project known as the Comprehensive Natural Disaster Risk Management Program to alleviate the impact of several natural disasters on the country's finances, he said. Through the program, Jamaica's disaster risk management capacity is being substantially improved through emphasis on 5 main areas: disaster risk management governance, risk identification, risk reduction, preparedness and response, and financial protection. McKenzie stated that the Comprehensive Disaster Risk Management Policy reflects government's strategic approach and will guide the integration of disaster risk management into development planning across all sectors and industries. He informed the House that the Green Paper includes the management structure for implementing the policy, which will be led by the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development and the Office of the Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management (ODPEM). The minister said too that it will include a mechanism that will guide policy implementation to 2040 and the associated monitoring and evaluation framework. McKenzie has invited the public to read the Green Paper and to comment on its provisions. It will be available on a range of websites including that of Parliament, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and ODPEM. There will also be a series of consultations with stakeholders across the island for a limited period, after which the feedback will be assessed and the necessary changes made, the minister said. 160 new cases, 2 deaths, 111 recoveries. Jamaica's COVID-19 positivity rate stands at 26%. That's according to the latest update from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The positivity rate follows confirmation of 160 new cases. The cases come from the 684 samples tested in the last 24 hours. The total number of positive cases in the island now stands at 145,157. 66 of the new cases are from Kingston and St. Andrew. 2 fatalities from the virus were recorded. More than 3,000 Jamaicans have died from COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic. There were 111 recoveries reported up to date. 93 people are hospitalized with COVID, 24 are moderately ill, 5 are severely ill, and 3 cases are considered critical. 91% of those hospitalized are unvaccinated. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.